What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with 13.5 weeks out physique update from the mutant Nick Walker on the way to his third Mr. Olympia. And honestly, the most decisive Mr. Olympia competition of his entire career. So I have to say all the bodybuilding fans out there, enjoy these updates. Because at about 12 weeks out mark, Nick Walker is gonna start posting very little physique updates all the way till this year's Mr. Olympia to keep an element of surprise for the big show. So what can be said about these updates? I think he looks really wide and really big in these shots. So the most muscular and the side chest, they have always been his strongest shots with the amount of sheer mass that he carries. Plus, we all know how freaky this guy really is. He always looks really impressive in these shots. Now, based on his performance at this past New York Pro, a lot of the people out there are really skeptical about putting Nick Walker in the top 3 predictions at this upcoming Mr. Olympia. And in my opinion, based on his last performance, I don't think Nick is gonna make top 3 this year. Beating a guy like Samson Dao, that won't be easy. So the other guys are improving at such a fast pace, and Nick has some structural flaws. So he is gonna be truly tested this year. So both him and his coach Matt Jensen are definitely going to focus a lot on bringing their waistline down. Because that was one of the major reasons why this past New York Pro was so damn close. And not to mention Talmanian pointed that out multiple times, that his waist got bigger. And for a guy like Nick, who already does not have the best quad sweep out there, he just cannot afford to have a bigger waistline than he already has, especially at a big show like the Arnold or the Olympia. So at the Arnold 2023, they tried to fix Nick Walker's shape and bring him in as aesthetic as they possibly can. And in a way that kind of worked. But what happened was that Nick was definitely the most shred guy on the stage. And that was definitely the most conditioned version of Nick Walker ever. But in chasing that conditioning and trying to fix his waistline, he lost a lot of volume on his quads. And because of that, he also lost his X-frame. And the judges inclined towards Samson Dao. So this time for the Olympia, they will try to have more balanced look, where Nick is freaky enough to outmuscle some of these guys, along with some improvements in his quads, and of course a more tapered down waistline. Samson Dao was asked about his game plan for this upcoming Miss Olympia, and he has a very good reply for that. It's actually really true. Back when Samson was competing at Boston 2022, I clearly remember Phil Heath and Dexter Jackson were critiquing his physique, and they had one thing common to say about him, that he needs to have bigger, rounder shoulders.
Every year they talk about the same thing, your conditioning. What's your plan for this year? Every year they talk about the same thing, and every year they always, I mean, to be fair, you know what, this is the signs of improvement. Remember the first year we came out, they said, okay, you needed more sides, you needed more shoulders, you needed more back, you needed more thickness. Now, each year we eliminate one of those things each year. So size, thick, shoulders, thick, back, thick. Now conditioning is the next one. So we've always shown signs of steady progression. Remember, I did my first Olympia and I came 6th in my first one. I did my first Arnold, I was 4th.
So what Samson Dao has done in terms of putting on that mass, that is truly exceptional. And this is something we do not see very often. Look at guys like Regan Grimes, Rafael Brandao, and all these other guys. And yes, I know they also got bigger. But these guys have taken years off to get bigger to put on more mass. And yet they still are not at the same level in terms of the mass in comparison to Samson Dao. And Samson, who has done every single Arnold, every single Miss Olympia since 2022, and multiple other shows as well, he somehow was able to continuously get bigger in the last 2 years. So Samson's back is gonna be much improved this year. And we already saw that if Samson is truly in a good condition, if he truly brings that next level of conditioning, his back actually looks really great. And we saw that happen at this year's Arnold UK. So the judges want to see more condition from Samson Dao. They want to see more detail. That means more suffering will come. That means he's going to have to dig even deeper for this upcoming Miss Olympia prep. But he's ready to embrace that. So next up we have a less than 3 weeks out physique update of the 300 pounds mass monster and the freak of nature, Ruel Moscara aka Neckzilla. So remember the guy Ahmed Askar? He was the trainer and the coach of Rolly Winkler for all those years, when Rolly was training at the Oxygen Gym Kuwait. And Rolly actually brought some great looks to the stage under the watchful eyes of Ahmed, especially the look that he brought at the Arnold Classic Australia back in 2018, where he defeated Dexter Jackson and William Barnack. Plus that same year, he was able to place top 3 at the Olympia, in 2018 of course, and that was under the guidance of Ahmed Askar. So that same guy is doing Ruel's diet for this upcoming Dubai Pro. So new updates were released by Ruel, specifically the one where he's doing that real large spread. In that famous doorway, where the former Miss Olympia Brendan Carey used to take all his progress updates. Now this update is taken from a distance, but you can see why Chris Cormier is so confident that Ruel has all the tools to win Dubai Pro and qualify for this upcoming Miss Olympia. And he is extremely confident that he can beat all these guys like Nathan Diesha, William Bonac and Barros Tabani. So people talk about his wide waist all the time, but they choose to ignore the fact that he has some really nice deep abs. And although he has a big waistline, his quads are so damn humongous, and those are gonna compensate for that. And that is why it is only a matter of time for Ruel. As soon as he brings up those shoulders to match with his huge arms and his chest, he's truly gonna be one of the most dangerous IB Pro in the men's open division. So what are your predictions? Can Ruel win this show? Do let me know in the comments below. So next up we have a physique update from the 5 times classic physique Miss Olympia, going for his 6th title, Chris Bumstead. So the fact that Chris is out there training with his coach Honey Rambot at 14 weeks out of the show, that just signifies one thing, the importance of this year's Miss Olympia to him. So this might very well be the last dance. This might very well be the last time we see Chris on that big stage. And Chris plans to make a statement that he wants to close this chapter of his life at a very high note by once again winning the Olympia. And not just by winning, dominating that lineup. Now CBum had a lot here at 10 weeks out of the Olympia last year. And we could see that on his physique, that he wasn't at his 100%. He wasn't at his best. In fact, his first time working with Honey Rambot, that was just for a few months before the Olympia 2022. And that was easily the best look of his career. But what really matters is that Chris Bumstead was able to beat the competition, including Ramon Dino, who looked absolutely sensational last year. So Chris did leave the door open for Ramon Dino last year, but Ramon still lost. And although the margin by which Chris Bumstead won majority of these shots against Ramon, except for the side chest, that was very little. Now fast forward to 2024. This time Chris Bumstead isn't willing to leave any chance for any of his competition. He looks so big and so round and so lean at 14 weeks out of the show. And that is very unlike of him. The man is looking super strong at this point in his prep. So what did you guys think? Is Chris Bumstead gonna deliver the most dominating performance of his entire career this year and show the bodybuilding world why he is at the top? And is this gonna be the final year for Chris Bumstead? Vancouver Pro Show is now less than a week away, and the official competitors list has been announced. And surprisingly, the defending champion Hassan Mostafa's name isn't on that list. So up until 3 weeks out of this show, Hassan Mostafa was posting his updates, and he was tagging Van Pro Show, making it official that he's gonna be there. So either this is a mistake and his name will be added later on, or he just isn't ready for this show. So we are definitely going to find that out in the next day or so. So we need Hassan Mostafa to be in that show, because all of us know that at his best, it's gonna be really hard for his competition to beat him. So Hassan has always been very unpredictable. You never know which version of him is gonna show up. And that makes his attendance here very interesting. So how good Hassan Mostafa really is, when he is truly on, when he is on his A game. He had a tricep tear last year, a few weeks out of the Olympia, and yet he was able to place top 11. And even at Van Pro Show last year, he gave Ian Valier a very good run for his money at that show. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.